Chapter 24, Mystery Proof. Ted was tired of thinking. He felt like his thinker needed a day off, or a month, maybe a year, and it was only 9:30 in the morning. He had been sitting at his writing desk ever since the Pledge of Allegiance, thinking and thinking and thinking about what he said to April earlier, about how he was going to help her, and her mother, and her brother. Ted had already chewed the erasers off 3 new pencils, and he had covered 2 pages in a spiral notebook with aimless doodling, thinking and thinking and thinking, because so many things had to happen before 4 o'clock this afternoon, like asking his mom if 3 homeless people could come and visit for a while. Oh, and would you take off early from work so you can be home in time to drive to the Kowasinski place and convince a frightened lady to get in the van with us? And yes, all 3 of them are staying for dinner, and overnight, and none of them have had a shower or a bath in at least a week, maybe 2. Ted hadn't even worked up the courage to talk to Mrs. Mitchell yet, because he had things he needed her to do too. Gratefully, she'd been busy for the last half an hour arguing with the 8th graders about the scores she had given them on their Civil War reports. As Ted sat there, pencil in his hand, trying to avoid thinking about April and his mom and Mrs. Mitchell, an eye landed on the book he had finished over the weekend, The Blood Runs Cold. It was right there on the corner of the desk. And Ted asked himself, why do I like mysteries so much? And since he had his pencil handy, he flipped to a clean sheet of paper in his notebook, and he wrote that very question at the top of the page. Why do I like mysteries so much? And then he tried to think some more, so he could write down every reason he could think of. And he thought, look at me, I'm so crazy that I'm trying to solve the mystery of why I like mysteries so much. But crazy or not, Ted actually wanted to know, so he began writing out the reasons. 1. I like the action and the suspense of a mystery. 2. I like seeing how detectives think about the clues. 3. I like how everything works out in the end. 4. I like it when the detectives outsmart the bad guys. 5. I like to figure out the solution before the story ends. Ted felt like he could keep finding more reasons, but he knew he was only trying to avoid thinking about April's problem and his own problems, which were related to April's problem. And at that moment, it struck him. Today, this whole day, is like a mystery. But it wasn't, not really, because most mysteries started with something bad that's already happened or that's about to happen. And the mystery is, how did it happen and whose fault is it? Starting with a bad thing and figure out how it happened or who did it. For today's events, Ted wanted no mystery at all. 0 suspense. He wanted everything to work out just right. So he thought, I guess what I need today is an anti-mystery, because he wanted this day to be mystery-proofed. Ted wanted nothing bad, nothing unexpected, not one single scary, uncertain moment. But how? He thought, how could I ever make that happen? And there he was once again, thinking and thinking and thinking. Except this time he got results. Ted knew he couldn't really bad proof the whole day. But in a flash he realized there was one way to come very close. He could at least give himself a fighting chance to end up with a mystery-free day. It was simple, and he already knew that it worked, and he had even proved it before. To mystery-proof a day, a week, maybe even a whole life, Ted needed one simple idea, just 2 words. Be prepared. The idea was so basic, so clear. Ted was pretty sure that the hard part would be the doing.